like to welcome Simon from Be Challenged. A lot of you have actually dealt with Be Challenged up and down the North Coast before. We felt it was really pertinent as we go into what we're referring to stage 2, our stage of hope, to start talking about, to start looking at content about how we can start to liaise with our clients, you know, and maybe talk to them and be educated, give education to them about how they can use modified products or, you know, different types of supplies and things like that they wouldn't be accustomed to. So the first one in that series is that we've got Simon from Be Challenged, and he's going to talk about that virtual online Teams product that they have. Simon, I don't think you need too much of an introduction, but over to you if you're happy to run with it.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Virtual clap for Simon, everybody.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Beck, for having me in. Morning to everyone. Yeah, really nice to see some familiar faces. It's been a little while as we all move through some pretty uncharted territories we're all sort of becoming accustomed to. I guess for us, it's you know, just a pleasure to come in and just share some of the insights as to what Be Challenged has been through over the last, you know, 7 weeks. I guess it's probably been 7 or 8 weeks. And how we've sort of needed to adjust and sort of become accustomed to what clients are needing or asking for. I think very similar to everyone that's in our industry, when it sort of came out, we probably had a little bit more of an insight as to what might have been coming due to our partnership. So we do have a global partnership with 50 odd partners across the globe, where we've seen partners sort of, you know, obviously in China and some of the Asia zones and over in America, that they sort of copped it a lot before us. We probably thought that it wasn't going to hit Australia with the intent that it did, with the impact that it did. So we're probably, looking back in hindsight, we probably could have adjusted a little bit quicker. But we just thought that Australia would manage it a little bit better than what we did and would get through it without the implications that's happened. But in saying that, we do have the support of a global group that have been through it. So there's a really big component of support that's helped Be Challenged get through it. So initially we had the entire pipeline that we had built essentially wiped off the books. And probably similar in terms of where everyone else fits is April for us is a really slow period. So we were under the mindset that it's going to be slow anyway. So if it was going to hit us, then a great time for it to hit in April. So we could then sit back, sort of reassess where things are at as a business and see what clients do need. We work closely with our partner in New Zealand. So during that period, we did sort of, you know, have plenty of meetings and discussions around what clients will need once that panic stage or that initial stage is hit in. So a lot of clients were obviously, you know, batting down the hatches, moving into remote working. So a lot of companies that we work with had to fit out, I guess, a lot of their staff to be able to work from home. They couldn't have the capacity. So essentially what we thought was the first point of call was a lot of them staff being able to connect. We knew that they were going to be having Zoom meetings and Skype meetings and that sort of thing. But how do we make sure that they're going to, number one, have a little bit of fun, which is the Be Challenged way? How they're going to deliver some key outcomes that will enhance the team's motivation or potentially performance, but also add value to the business moving forward is where we operate anyway. So that's where we sort of sat down and worked on the solutions that, I guess, products that we already had in the pipeline or already there that we can just tweak a little bit so we can roll them out really, really quickly, which is what we did with the Go Remote, which you guys will experience today. And then from that point on, again, we've got access to global partners, so we can trial and test, you know, multiple programs to make sure that if we are going to roll them out to clients, and they're going to work. So that was where we started, you know, adjusting and changing some products that we would deliver normally face to face, and utilising the strengths of some of our partners that do all of our tech work, and telling them what we need, and then we can then trial it, and then we start launching them out. So I guess we probably have 3 different lines of product now for clients, that in terms of what they're after. I was having a chat with Beck earlier, just had a client call through, and they've got referred from another partner of theirs that purely all they want is they've been doing trivias online, like a lot of us have been doing, little game shows, different topics or whatever, to connect over some drinks on a Friday afternoon, and they've run out of ideas, and they just want to have a laugh and have some fun on a Friday, which is probably the first element of what we're doing. It's fun based, it's competitive, it allows some connection, it allows people to have a drink, whether they want teams or whether they want individual, then we've got those options. The second option that we're rolling out is ongoing stuff for teams. As an example, if you want some form of engagement for a group, say over 6 weeks, and it might be 2 lots of 30-minute sessions during the week where they can literally log on at any time they want, complete the task that adds towards their tally, and then towards the end of the 6-week period, they'll jump on a Zoom call like this and they'll compete together, and then we'll have an overall winner. So a lot of companies are asking for that, and it might be an in-house Olympics or something like that, where it's going to culminate with an overall winner at the end, but across a longer period. And then the last one there is more specific around key outcomes for teams. And that might be personal or professional development, and it might be more strategic team-based focus, where you might have a virtual or a remote team, but they really need to understand how to communicate with each other and how to get through the current situation that we're dealing with. But let's put them in a simulation in a virtual space and get them to problem solve, work together, face some various challenges, but get a solution or get to a purpose where they've got a solution and have an outcome, which is the last lot of the options that we've got, which is probably the most exciting, to be honest, for me. We had a really awesome virtual reality program called the Infinite Loop, which was a most recent product that we launched probably 14 months ago, where teams were required to have a virtual reality headset, one per team, and then their other team members have information that they will use to communicate between the real world and the virtual world in order to go and rescue someone who's been trapped in the virtual space. But we've now designed that to be an online game. And again, we use Zoom and breakout spaces where it's essentially like a face-to-face delivery, and the technology just makes it work seamlessly. So a lot of the development we've done is definitely not in jest, because we see moving forward, if there are companies that, hey Carmen, that do have remote teams and continue to have remote teams, then these are definitely options for them should they not have the ability to get face-to-face. And it's a really exciting period for a lot of people if we can look at, becoming a bit more agile and focusing on, where are things at, where is the current environment and climate with our industry. But we are definitely hopeful that things move pretty quickly and we can get back to face-to-face sooner rather than later, because that's obviously where we like to play. There's no replacement for a face-to-face delivery, because a lot of our, I guess the benefit of what we do is in the facilitator and their charisma and the way they deliver a program for a group. Reading a group online is a lot different compared to face-to-face, trying to gauge what's working for them and what's not. And they typically are not quite as open on an online format as what they would do in a face-to-face workshop. So there's a lot of things that we're finding, even in, we roll out DISC workshops virtually, and we're finding that people are not quite as willing to ask questions to get the right answers. So we're now having to sort of preempt a lot of questions as opposed to waiting for them to come. But I guess that's the
Sorry.
challenge that we're all going through. Yes, Beck?
Can I just stop you there? Only because this is the first time that Carmen's been on our call. So I can see her face sort of going, can anyone see me? What's happening here? So I don't want to interrupt. Welcome, Carmen. How are you? You look like you've got in the car to drive to get reception, have you?
You're taking us through a journey.
No, we're at our warehouse and the boys have just turned the forklift on, so I had to leave the warehouse. So I'm sitting in my car. Hopefully you won't hear the highway too much.
That's cool. We can see you. Welcome to the call. I won't interrupt Simon, but just wanted to make sure you know you're acknowledged. We've got Jeanette looking like a ghost with her video too. So we've got all sorts of interesting things happening today. Sorry, Simon, to interrupt.
No, that's fine. I think what we might do, Beck, is we might just dig in and have a bit of fun for sort of 15 or 20 minutes.
Sounds really good. Yeah.
Everyone's keen.
Yeah.
Normally what we would do, it's like any program we deliver, we do a little icebreaker. So for those of you that can, we might just kick off with a little activity as a little bit of competition, because the program we're going to do today is competitive. So to kick things off, I'm going to challenge everyone on the call to see who can be the first person to come back and show on their screen a wooden spoon. Go. Oh, Adriana, that was quick. Timmy, I don't know what that is.
I'm in a one-bedroom apartment, so the kitchen is just there.
Oh, there we go.
Chopsticks count, pal.
Oh, they're closed. Beck got a couple of. Adriana was quick. I think it was like 15 seconds or something.
Yeah, it's right there.
So quick.
Oh, that's so funny. I like your wooden spoon. It's got like a love heart on it.
Got love hearts. And what I've decided to do is I just said to the kids, I need help. We need to cheat. So I've got the team helping me now.
Good.
Nice.
Mine are all plastic.
Plastic.
Mine too.
I love a good wooden spoon.
Awesome. All right, so the winner was Adriana.
Good work,
So we
Adriana.
can give her a big virtual sort of clap. Well done. Congratulations. She might get some additional points. Now, before I start sharing a screen, I just want to check if everyone has had a chance to download the app.
Hands up if you have. Okay, cool. So we need 3 to download now, I think.
Cool. I'm going to I'll share a screen anyway now.
Is it download onto, is it an app or just download onto your laptop?
Just onto your phone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just onto your phone would be great.
He's going to talk us through it, Carmen. So that's
Okay.
yeah.
So if you want to, basically, if you want to jump onto the App Store on your phone,
Yeah.
you'll just need to search for Go Team, and it's from Catalyst Global. So you'll be able to type in Go Team and then download the app. Just so you can see on the screen. It should.
Can you see on the screen there, Carmen? That's
Yeah.
what I'm looking for.
Go team. Yep. Go team. Yeah. Install.
The other thing I will mention, it generally works a bit quicker when we get to downloading the game. If you have, if you close any of the operations you've got happening on your phone, it just makes the download work a bit quicker when we get to downloading the actual game.
Okay. I have every single thing open here.
So just while we wait for everyone to have that app ready, I'll just quickly touch base on Go Remote. So Go Remote was developed, as I might have mentioned earlier, it was developed off the back of our most successful program globally. And that program's called Go Team, which is essentially a GPS-based scavenger hunt or choose your own adventure, which in terms of why it is so successful, it's purely, it's customizable to any specific requirement and request. So if a client is going to a particular location, they're going to, Byron Bay, if they're going to Lismore or wherever, then we can design a program for the client to get exactly what they want out of the program. So if they want to go and explore the area, they might get to 5 or 6 iconic locations in that destination where they can go and utilise the area that they're holding an event or a conference, but they can have, number one, a lot of fun while they're doing it. It's competitive, but the app actually captures everything that they're doing and the challenges. So they then got a really nice capture of what they did while they were there. So yes, Go Team, the reason why it's so successful is because of the flexibility and the customization that you can do with it. Obviously, this is not a GPS version. This is designed to be delivered exactly how we are going to run it today. So everyone's in their home, and they'll be doing it as an individual challenge. So this is not a team-based program, this one. It can be slightly tweaked, but the main purpose of this is just general engagement, a bit of fun, connectivity, and then we celebrate at the end once we've captured the entire game. How are we going with the app, guys?
Downloaded.
All good? Awesome. Fantastic. All right. So, as I said earlier, the main objective of Go Remote is really simple. It's just basically we just want to have some fun. So with a lot of clients, it's all about connecting and having some fun, completing as many tasks as you can within the given time frame to earn as many points. Really, really simple. And we're going to put you guys to the test. So we won't do this yet, but I'm going to explain what will happen when we get to the point where we want to kick off the game. Essentially, what you're going to do is you're going to use the QR code at the top right-hand corner there that you can see on the screen. That if you tick on that, it's going to bring up a QR scanner, and then we'll scan a code when we get to that point. So don't worry about doing it now. I'll share a QR code that we can all scan when we get to it. Then you're going to download the game. Now, everyone's going to download the game in different times depending on how much signal you've got. Again, if you've closed every other app down, it'll download fairly quickly. It might take 10 seconds for someone, or it might take a minute for someone else. So we'll just be aware that might take a little bit of time. But the one thing to know is that our apps are built on what's called a native software. So once the game is downloaded, then there'll be no other lag time because everyone's already it's automatically downloaded and the game's ready to play. So there'll be no lag time for the challenges. So you'll download the game and then we can kick off and hit the game start. I'll throw you into putting your team name in. You can choose whatever you like today. The only thing I'll say is don't put any emojis in your name. It just plays up with our system for some reason and potentially shuts it down on the back end. So just no emojis when you're putting your team name in. And then the next step will be taking a selfie. So you'll get points for taking a selfie, and then literally you'll take a photo and submit it. So you won't need to leave the app at any stage. Everything is built in for you. It's really user-friendly and quite simple to use. You'll submit your photo and then I'll be able to see it on the back end. And then the last point is how we play the game. So essentially with Go Remote, you'll have 5 different categories that will run vertically down the column. And then what you'll do is you'll click on one of those little tabs. It'll tell you what that selection of programs or challenges is all about. So this one on the screen says artistic and creative. If you want to then open up the remaining challenges for that, you'll need to tap on that little information bar, and then and then you can launch it, which will then launch another 6 different challenges horizontally across that bar. Okay. And then you can do the same for every single one of those virtual challenges to open up different categories. So there are 5 categories, but there'll be multiple challenges across the vertical side of it. Okay, which we'll have a play with when we get started. This is just an example of some of the tasks that you'll get through. This one's a creative task where you'll need to utilize things in the household. So this one's going and find some paper and scissors and a pen. We probably won't have time for this today, but feel free if you do. But the whole purpose of Go Remote in its normal format was 45 minutes away from the screen. to go and complete the task as you would around your home, taking photos and challenges and getting stuck into and then rejoining later. What I will mention here is, again, make sure you submit after you've taken your photo. Otherwise, we might miss it and you'll miss out on some points. If you do pass the challenge, it'll delete it. So you won't have a chance to go back and do that challenge that you've passed on. We won't need this today, but there is a chatter function. So you can actually communicate with Big Brother. So in a normal program, we would have someone as Big Brother, so we can see everything that you guys are doing on the back end. We can communicate with everyone that's playing part in the game. So they can have that function to chat. And you can also control the game. You can message the game. So if you feel like you want to message out to everyone that's taking part in it, you can also do that through the message function, which we probably won't use today. The last thing is just make sure you've got sound turned on. So if you're not hearing anything, we can go through and find where your sound is. So you'll need to tap up the top, go into settings, and then you need to make sure that you've got sound turned on in there. But I think it's automatically set to have sound on. So we shouldn't have any issues with that today. All right. Any questions before I get you to scan the QR code? Good luck. All right, so we've got to announce some winners. So without any further ado, our third place on 360 points goes to the Puzzle Queen. In second place on 480, so an extra 120 points, we have Veronica.
I thought I did so bad.
And then in first place on 757 points, we have...
Oh,
Well done, Timmy.
So
757 points.
Boom.
He took it to the next level, took it pretty competitive. So there you have it.
Well done, Tim.
But no, I guess that's Go Remote. As I said, there's, we're just trying to do basically what everyone else is doing and just trying to work with clients and just provide support to them where they need it. To be honest, we're all trying to sort of survive in a bit of an uncertain time at the moment. It's really uncharted for everyone. So the survival mode comes out. We were lucky enough to have two really strong and dominant leaders, or two directors in the company that jumped on things pretty quickly to help give the rest of our team some direction and support. That's probably where we're trying to position ourselves at the moment, is just trying to listen and reach out to clients and understand, what they're going through. And some clients are doing really, really well. Some industries seem to be, thriving and doing exceptionally well, whereas others are sort of not doing so well. So it's just doing exactly what you guys are doing, Beck, and staying connected with people and just providing support where we can. And we'll have a bit of fun if we can, and we'll come out the other side. So, and I don't think it's too far away where we will have an opportunity to get some smaller face-to-face things happening. And I think, with the international travel potentially not going to open up too soon, then I think the local destination stuff is going to, be exactly what people are after, and we can hopefully try and push people to come out and explore the areas that we've got and utilise some of the beautiful regional areas that we can really rely on.